Who said NotebookLM slides need only to be static? In this video, I'll show you how to make your NotebookLM slides interactive. With this simple technique of using NotebookLM slides inside PowerPoint, you can build complex branching logic for your presentations. You can also make your presentations get that choose your own adventure format. The technique is simple enough for even beginners in PowerPoint to follow because I'll be sharing with you the exact step-by-step process. Later in this video, I'll talk about a tool called PDNob by 10hourshare, who are the sponsors of this video. I'll show you how you can use PDNob, the AI-powered PDF editor, to take your interactive experience a little bit further. I'm Ram Gopal from presentationprocess.com. We help you present your ideas better. Let us jump right in. The first step in building an interactive presentation is to get your outline right. Because if your presentation needs to have a branching logic, then your outline needs to capture that. So you can ask any of your LLMs like say Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT to create your outline for you with the branching logic. Now here you can see my example. I've given clear instructions on what each slide should contain. The slide title here, the content here, and what should be the visual suggestion. Everything is clearly spelled out for every single slide. So we have got in this presentation around say 13 slides. With a simple branching logic, all I need to do is to copy this entire thing by using this copy response option. Then go to NotebookLM, create a new notebook, and then use copied text option. And I can paste my outline like this, and I can say insert. Now that inserted outline, which details every slide's content, becomes the source material for me. Now I can go to slide deck option here, click on the arrow so you can get this dialog box. You can choose presenter slides here. The length can be just default, and you can give any specific instruction in terms of how the look and feel of the slides should be. I've chosen a simple, fun handwriting style where the text is still readable and professional, and then I said generate. I got this result for slides. Let me go through the slides quickly so you can understand the branching logic here. I kept the presentation subject fairly simple. The presentation is about how by choosing the right habits, you're able to improve the productivity in the mornings and avoid the morning rush. We start with this simple scenario where an executive is given two options at 7 a.m. The two options are option A to hit the snooze button. Option B is to get up now. Now, what happens if the person hits the snooze button and wants to sleep for a few more minutes? The result is this. You can see that the person gets up at 7:15. There is a lot of rush. And then the person is given two options. Option A is to skip breakfast. Option B is to grab a granola bar and go to the office. Now, what happens if the person chooses to skip breakfast? The energy is low. And if the person chooses the other option of picking up the granola bar, then the result is a bit of a mess here. You can see that there are crumbs all over the dress and what our consequences are for that specific decision. Now, if you go back and choose the other route, which is option B, which is to get up now, then what are the consequences? That is what is shown here. The person gets the early bird advantage, and there are two options shown. Option A is to do quick workout. Option B is to check the emails so the person can get a quick head start for the day. And if the person chooses option A, then the endorphin levels are quite high. The person is in peak readiness. And if the person chooses the other option of checking the emails, then the momentum for the day is built and whatever consequences are for that specific decision. And then both these people hit the road and they go through the morning rush and they arrive at their desk. But then in terms of the mental clarity, you can see that the person with option A who chose to snooze is now naturally frustrated and doesn't have as much energy as the other fellow who chose to wake up and do some exercise or check up emails. So that is the whole presentation. Now, naturally, we cannot show this presentation as a sequential set of slides. We need to build in a branching logic. So what do we do now? Let us go to this option here and say download PowerPoint. And these are our slides. Now we are going to build the branching logic inside PowerPoint. The first thing I'm going to do is to go to the slides which have options. Here you can see that the first two options are shown in the second slide. Now let me go to shapes, then go all the way down and go to action buttons. And here you have the blank option called action button blank. You click on that and then you click and drag across this particular rectangle. And then you say hyperlink it to, and where exactly are we going to hyperlink it to? To the next slide. So let me click on this, go to next slide and say OK, because when you click on the snooze option, the person has to go to the snooze trap slide. Now, naturally, with this blue box covering the content, nobody can see what is behind this. So I'm going to right click, go to format shape, go to fill, and I'm going to increase the transparency all the way to 100% and hit enter. And then go to outline and say no outline. Now, when I go to slideshow and take my cursor over the first option, you can see that we have the cursor turn into this hand icon, which means it is a linked slide. So when I click on this, it takes me to the relevant slide. We show this slide and then we go to the next set of options here. Go to shapes and then pick up the action button with blank and do whatever that we did earlier. Hyperlink to next slide, because this is the next slide there, and then let us increase the transparency to 100% and then remove the outline. Now let us build a connection, so if someone were to click on this option, it would take them to slide number 6 and not slide number 5, which is by default. So I'm going to do whatever that I did earlier. Invisible action button, draw over here, and then say hyperlink to, then click on the drop down menu and then say slide, and that takes you to the slide number, and you can see the preview for each slide here. Let us go to slide number 6, and we know that this is about the granola bar, and we say OK, and you say OK. Now let us make this transparent by going to 100% here and then go to shape outline and no outline. Now when I go to slideshow, when I take my cursor over, there is a link here. When I click on this, it takes me to the relevant slide, which gives me the consequences for choosing that specific option. Now let us go to slide sorter so you can clearly see what we have done so far. In the second slide, we have two options: hitting the snooze button or getting up now. When you hit the snooze button, it takes to the next slide, which is about the snooze trap. And then we go further, we have two options here. The first one is to skip breakfast. When you do so, it takes to this slide. When you click on the other option, which is to pick up the granola bar, you go to this slide. Now we need to connect the next slide, which is about the early bird advantage, to the option right here, which is about getting up now. So I'm going to click on this option, but before that, let me see what this slide number is. It is slide number 7. So let me go here, go to the action button, and then draw the action button to cover this, and then hyperlink to, and then go to slide and say slide 7, which happens to be the early bird advantage, and say OK, and say OK again, and increase the transparency of the box to 100%, no outline. Now when I go to slideshow, I click on this, it takes me to the early bird advantage, and we take the viewers through the next slide, and here we have two options, and naturally you know what to do. When you click on this, it takes to the next slide. I'm going to choose this, hyperlink to next slide and say OK. And then what happens if the person chooses the other option? Go to shapes, once again do the same thing that we did earlier. Go to hyperlink to and then say slide. And what is the slide that we need to show here? You can see that it is slide number 10. So I choose slide 10 and I verify that with the preview and say OK, 100% transparency, and then no outline. Now we have built our branching logic for the forward flow. We also need to build the backward flow. To make it easy for you to understand what I'm saying, let us say we have two options, A and B, and the explanation for A is A1 and the explanation for B is B1. Now, when I go to the slide which has A and B, when I click on A, I go to A1. I also need to go back to the A and B slide so that I can click on B to go to B1, right? So we need to have some kind of a back link from A1 to the two option slide. That is exactly what we are going to do here. Let us see what we have got here. Let us say we have this slide here, which is A and B. Now this is A1 and this is B1. Now we need to have a way of connecting this A1 back to this AB slide so that we are able to choose B, right? So let me go to this and then use a very simple shape. You can choose any shape. Let us say shapes and then pick up this triangle and then let us have the triangle drawn. Give this any color you want. You can remove the outline if you want and then make it turn to the left. So let us go to rotate and then say rotate left 90 degrees. I can place it anywhere. Maybe I can place it here or here. The location is completely up to you. I'm going to right click on this, go to the link option, and here I can choose this option here called place in this document because we are going to link it to a place inside the same document. So click on that. And what is the slide that I'm going to link it back to? which is the previous slide, which is slide number 4. So I choose slide 4 and say OK. So when I go to slideshow and go to the slide which represents the A-B option, A and B, I click on A and it takes me to A1. And then I click on this link which we just built, takes me to the AB slide. Now can you see I can click on B here and that takes me to the B1 slide. So that is the exact logic. Now we need to do that for the bigger logic as well, which is there are two options A and B, which is to hit snooze and what are the consequences, and get up now and what are the consequences. The end of this chain of hit snooze is this one. So we need to have a connection from this slide back to this slide. So how do we do that? Once again, we go to the triangle option and then draw a triangle and choose any color. Maybe this time I'm going to choose the green color and no outline, and then make it rotate left 90 degrees, and I'm going to place it over here, and then right click, link, and then place in the same document and slide 2 and say OK. Now when I go to slideshow, this is the first slide, second slide, two options. I click on this, I go through the journey, and then two options, I go through this, and then I go back and choose another option and I go back here. So I click on this and it takes me to the overall two options. One is to hit snooze and the other one is to get up now. I click on this and takes me to this early bird advantage and the subsequent scenario for that. So that is how you create the branching logic. Now, if I need to take this to the next level, then I need a bit more freedom in terms of selecting even the text items so I can link them to the different branching scenarios. Now, if you see NotebookLM slides by default are no more than pictures stuck on slides. So we need to have the freedom of choosing text inside the NotebookLM slides. And that is where our TenorShare PDNob 2.0 comes into picture. It is an AI-based PDF editor which allows you to perform advanced OCR. So you are able to convert your NotebookLM slides into editable PowerPoint slides. Let me show you how it is done. You download your NotebookLM slides, this time as a PDF document instead of as PowerPoint. Then you install PDNob and open that PDF. Then choose Perform OCR that allows you to perform OCR for all slides in one go. And then you go to convert and say convert to PowerPoint. First you say yes, and that allows you to save the changes wherever that you want it. And then you go to convert to PowerPoint once more and say convert, which converts all your 14 slides into editable PowerPoint where you can play with the text quite easily. Now this is the slide deck that we got, and you can see that there is absolutely no distortion whatsoever of the graphics. We have got our text that is completely editable. How do we know? We can go to any part of the text and you can see that it is easily editable. Now this allows you some very interesting advantages. First of all, you can get rid of these pesky NotebookLM watermarks, so your slides are clean. I can do that very easily. I can go to any slide, select the option of NotebookLM and then delete it. The next one is, let us say we have a slide deck with agenda slide. I can go to that agenda slide, select each of the agenda items and link it to the specific section inside the presentation. And that gives the audience complete freedom on which of the agenda points they want to be covered first and which one comes later. So the entire presentation is then guided by the audience's requirements rather than as a presenter's requirement. The same way, you can make technical presentations a lot more enriching with this interactive option. Let us say you want to show the functioning of a heart. You can show the picture of a heart and then label the various parts and connect each of those labels to the corresponding explanation. Now imagine the kind of rich experience the audience will have in choosing their own adventure. And an important thing to note is this 2.0 version of PDNob is fairly accurate. As I had shown you just now, it is almost impossible to distinguish between a slide where the OCR is done and the one where the OCR is not done. The only difference is now you have the option to work with the text the way you want. And the best part is the lifetime license of PDNob 2.0 is priced very attractively. I will leave a link to that product in the description box below the video. You can click on the link, try the free version and see if it is satisfying your requirements. And if you are fully satisfied, then go ahead and purchase the lifetime license and it is definitely worth it. If you want to see a full video of PDNob 2, I will leave a link to that right now on your screen. I will see you inside that video next.